Hey guys, so this is kind of a unstructured video, I suppose. In the first video with that, but I guess the goal of this video is to be able to have the idea of talking to someone and just expressing how I feel right now, and just knowing that there's a potential that someone out there would see it, even though it's unlikely that anyone would ever see it. But just the fact that someone could is comforting, I suppose. And I guess that's the reason why I'm making this. Kind of just get my thoughts like down, kind of as like in a journaling sense almost, how some people journal or they write in their notes app or whatever. I hate writing, so that's why I'm doing this video. I've tried writing before. I despise it. I fucking despise all writing, actually. Anywho. So, I have what's known as obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, as the general population would probably know it as. And it's not exactly what people think it is. When people think of OCD, a lot of times they think of like someone has all their stuff like in line, like the room is like super organized, like it's all in line, like the books are coordinated with color and alphabetical order and whatnot, and if one falls out, then it's like, oh my god. It's not really that simple. In fact, it's almost the opposite, kind of, in the sense that it's not logical at all. So how I would describe it from my personal experience, and I don't speak for everyone with OCD or anyone that has a similar disorder or anything, anyone that has been diagnosed. Anyways, I'm just rambling here. But in my personal experience, how it's worked for me is generally it starts with something I care about in my mind. And I'll give examples. Like, if this example, I'll use mine, and then I'll go into my issue that I'm having right now. How that ties back. So, my dog, for example. My dog's name is Muggsy. Maybe I'll put a picture up if I decide to edit this video. I probably won't, though. Anyways, like, my brain cares about Muggsy, right? And I developed this care for Muggsy. And then I have a stressful environment. And say something's not going my way. I'm very stressed. Often, in my experience, it's almost always triggered by stress. Sometimes it's not, but stress always makes it worse, if not triggers it. Say I'm having a stressful day, right? And what the OCD does is it takes something you care about, and then your brain thinks that it's in danger, essentially. And it puts like this massive like alert in your head, or not alert, it's not how I would describe it. I would say more of a distress in your head that this thing you really care about is in distress if you don't do this very specific weird thing. And that's completely illogical, by the way. It has nothing to do with, like, for example, the well-being of my dog. But say that I'll give an example here. So say, my day's probably stressful or something, because, again, usually it's triggered by stress. Not always, but sometimes. And, it's a very nice Tacoma up there. The new Toyota Tacomas look, they're nice. I do prefer the first gens. The first gens, I would love to have a first gen Tacoma. They're beautiful. Anyways. Where was I? Oh, yes. So, you have something you care about. In this example, it's my dog. And then this distress goes off in your head that this thing is in danger, right? And if I don't do this very irrational, not connected at all thing, like, for example, and if any of you guys who have OCD are watching this video, you would know that a major, well, okay, I'll first explain what it's called, what this irrational thing is called. It's called a compulsion. So in therapy, you learn that and before, if you've never been to therapy, or, or if you know you have OCD, but you've never been to therapy, or if you just have it in general, like before I went to therapy, anyways, sorry, kind of just like, just in my words, I don't usually make videos recording myself, but, so you have what's known in therapy as this compulsion. So essentially it goes, the thing I care about, then it goes distress, and then compulsion, right? At least this is how it works in my head. And so essentially, for an example, my dog, Muggsy, I care about him very much. And then this hand washing compulsion. Again, many people with OCD experience this. Like, actually, like 90% of people that have OCD have at least had the hand washing compulsion. So what happens is, I think if I don't wash my hands right now, Muggsy is going to brutally die. Like, that's how extreme it is. And like, the scary part is, like, most people would think, oh, that's ridiculous, right? Like, he's not going to die if you don't wash your hands. Like, that makes no sense. It's not logical. And most people would just, like, brush it off. Like, whatever, It's like, that's stupid. But people with OCD, like, if you don't, like, and it does go away after a while, but if it's like, if I don't wash my hands, I genuinely think, like, the distress that I feel is that my dog is going to die. Like, it genuinely feels like my dog is going to die to me. And it's quite a horrible feeling. Now, eventually it goes away if you resist the compulsion. You can either, well, I guess from here I'll explain. You have two options. So you can resist the compulsion, or you can give in to the compulsion. Giving in to the compulsion often provides a stress release. Like, you don't believe that anymore. Like, the alarm in your brain is turned off. But how it works is, it's like an addiction in a sense. Like, it's not addictive, it's actually like horrible, but like your brain it's an addiction in your brain, but it's like, it doesn't feel good at all. It feels like actual shit. So then if you give into the compulsion, maybe you feel good for a little bit, and then it comes back, and then you feel the exact same thing, and then you do it again and again and again, and the compulsions and distress get more frequent, and the compulsions themselves usually get more complicated, more extreme. So what do you do in counseling? Well, what I learned, and what has generally worked for me, counseling wasn't the most helpful thing, because I kind of figured out, like, pretty early on what I had to do to make it go away. I mean, it's pretty, like, if you have it, an old runner just walked by. I didn't want to seem like an insane person talking to nobody in my car, and that's what it's come to. So where I was, so in therapy, you learn to suppress your urge to do this compulsion, and it works. It works, but in order to suppress it, you need to first come up with one, which can be a multitude of things that trigger it. It doesn't have to be stress. Like, I could do something that, like, to just trigger it. I don't know how to describe it. If you have OCD, you would know. Like, things that would trigger you, and they're usually around the compulsions, right? So, like, I could, like, say one of my compulsions is I need to have my phone and my AirPods next to each other. I can trigger it by moving my AirPods away from my phone and then say the thing that I care about in my mind that is sorry, more people are walking by. It's the evening and everyone likes to go on their evening walks. I love evening walks too. It's just I don't want to seem like insane. So, and where was I? And that compulsion that you mess up, let's say like my AirPods next to my phone, you can mess that up and then say that the compulsion, or sorry, the thing that I care about that's connected to that compulsion is my car. My car is a piece of shit, but I do like it. It gets me from place to place. I'm grateful my parents gave it to me, even if it is a little piece of shit. So I move my AirPods away from my phone. Now in my brain is saying, you just fucked up. Your car is going to explode now. Quite the distress, right? But in a controlled environment where I know, where I'm not stressed, there's not a lot of outside events going on, and I can just hone in on resisting that compulsion after I mess up whatever in my head. If I resist it, and then eventually the feeling goes away, and that really starts to dissipate, right? But this can only happen in a controlled environment where you have little stress, which can be hard, which is what I'm about to get into. So now I'm going to go on to my real problem that I have right now. And this is just kind of, I guess, venting to the camera. I already explained what I was doing in the beginning, but just venting to the camera. There's no real point in talking to a therapist at this point. I've already heard the plan and what you have to do and whatnot. Like, I know what he's going to say. It's going to be the same shit that I've already heard. It's just a waste of money. Like, I just need something to talk to, and, the therapist is great, but he costs money, and he's just going to tell me what I already know. And it's not going to be really helpful. I need something to vent to. And you might ask, well, why don't you, ask one of your family members or a loved one? Old Italian guy on a bike. I love bike riding too. I'm about to get a new mountain bike, so that's really exciting. Yeah, so why don't I tell my family members or someone who I trust? Well, the problem is that the compulsions that I've been having lately, all have to do with distrusting my loved ones, which has been hugely a problem. Because, again, resisting the compulsions is good, but sometimes when you have a stressful environment or you're just not ready to take them on, it can be quite distressing and quite harmful and quite distracting. Mostly just distressing, because I can't target the compulsion, like, figure it all out in my brain, figure out, this is rational, I need to just get past this, right? I can't do that when I have a stressful environment, which is why I'm out of my car right now, because I just need to get away from things. And I could go for a walk, but then I couldn't record. Going for walks is nice, but... So, it's starting to spread to my loved one, the compulsions. And now I'm going to talk about, I guess, what I'm upset about right now. And how it's just really, all, a horrible situation, and I'm not doing well about it. It's really wrecking my mental health. I can't focus on anything right now. The whole thing is terrible for me. And usually I'm pretty upbeat, and, even in like shitty situations, I'm usually able to kind of like smile through it and whatnot. But this is just horrible. Like, I genuinely feel so bad, like so like distressed. Not even like, well, bad. I'll talk about it. I feel bad, but I also feel distressed. So what's happening? Another guy drove by. First, I guess I'll explain what I care about. What I care about is I'm an individual that I care about very, how do I say this? I care about little, but what I do care about, I care about a lot, right? One of the things I care about is my personal health. I care about my health very much. It's probably, besides, sorry, the low battery just played. Besides loved ones, health is what I care about the most, I would say. Yes, I would say. And so, since I care about health a lot, I have a lot of compulsions around health. Well, this compulsion has moved to my loved ones. And today, my girlfriend came over to my house. We hung out. We had a fine time. And there was a compulsion that I knew was going to come up because I have it and I've had it before. And I knew it was going to be an issue, but I was like, you know what? I can withstand it. I can, I don't want to say that, like, we can't hang out because my stupid fucking OCD, stupid fucking disease in my head is preventing us from, hanging out. Like, that's not healthy at all. And I want to hang out with her too. That's the thing. Like, I really do. But in my head, the compulsion is that there's specific things in my house which I think are very important to my health. My food, my hygiene products. I think those are very important. My room, the environment of my room. Probably those top 3 things. My sleep too, but that one's not really, it's like, I can't really, like, it's not a part of it, but it's important to my health, but this is not what it's part of. It's about those 3 things, basically. It's a fucking car alarm. I'm gonna roll up my window now. Hopefully it goes off soon. It's really hot in here, so I really do hope it goes off soon. So, the compulsion is that I don't trust my loved ones anymore, and this just isn't just her, it's also my parents and everyone. I believe that, this isn't logical, but in my brain, I had the distress, and my brain truly believes it, in the sense of, like, the distress, that she has poisoned my food, my hygiene products, and my environment. I believe that my home is poisoned now. And it's just, okay, the car alarm. It's tragic because I have to live in the compulsion all day, worrying about it. I'm living in there, right? And I can try to resist it, but without intense focus on resisting it, and like for me to be able to resist it, I have to have, like, a perfect environment, like, where there's, like, nothing going on. I can just sit in, like, complete, like, aloneness and isolation, and I don't have to worry about anything, work, anything. And That's not realistic to the majority of my life. So that's why I only do my resisting compulsions to work on, you know, um, getting over my OCD during certain times. And I can't do that. And now that she has essentially caused this compulsion because she went in my house, now I believe that I'm truly going to get poisoned. And I have the distress that I'm poisoned and that my environment is poisoned and the environment I live in and the food that I'm eating, it's all poisoned. And I genuinely feel like I'm like going, like some horrific things are going to happen to my health. And the more tragic part is she's one of the only people I can really talk to about it, besides my therapist, who, again, I already explained why I don't want to talk to him, and my mom. My dad, I can talk to my dad, but, like, my dad's an amazing guy, but he doesn't understand it. Like, and I don't blame him. He's never had the experience. He cannot comprehend. My mom can kind of comprehend. My mom doesn't have OCD, but she's a little better at putting herself in my shoes. But the problem with my mom right now is she's very busy with work, and I don't want to stress her out more, and I don't want to become a problem. She works very hard, and she does not deserve to have to deal with that. And my girlfriend, I could talk to her, but I feel horrible because I know she's going to feel horrible about triggering the OCD. And I talk to her about it, and she's the main person I vent to, but she doesn't really understand it, so she's going to think that the best way is to just not hang out at all, and I really don't want that to happen because I feel terrible. And then there's also the factor of that this is impacting my relationship, and it feels horrible. I feel terrible. I feel like a terrible person because I can't get over this. And I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this loop of distress, and I don't know what to do. I've tried living my life mostly carefree because I don't believe in any higher up or any religion for the most part, at least not yet. And I really believe that we are here for no reason, and that there is no purpose to anything. The only purpose is to live and to feel and to experience, whether the experience be good or bad, and to just be grateful to wake up every day. Okay, the people are gone, and I rolled up my window. And I believe that we should live our lives relatively unserious, relatively playful, and just enjoy the time we have here and be grateful to wake up every day. But there's some things that I just feel wrong not caring about, not being serious about. Like, I need, like, it's very, I guess, like there's some, like, essentials that I need to care about. I guess was how I would say it. Yeah, that's how I'd say it. Like, everything should be taken very unseriously, very playfully, except for a few specific things if you want to have that experience of the seriousness. And I want to have the experience of being serious about, one, my health, and then human connection, I suppose. Those are the two things that I really only care about. Another person yet again walked by. And, sorry, continuing. But when I care about those things, I really care about them. And then like, I want to have that experience of waking up and having good health and good human connection. I really want that experience. I think I guess I don't need it, but I think that experience in life is so much better than not caring about it. In terms of your experiences and, making having life be how do I put it? Just having good experiences. Yes, I guess that's all. Yeah, waking up and living life that way is nice. Yeah. Living life with good health and human connection. But with that care of things comes the compulsions and the brutal reality that I'm always going to battle with OCD if I care about things, which I want to. I want to have children in the future. I want to have a wife. I want to have good health. I want to have a couple of really good friends that I can have amazing experiences with. I think it just makes the experiences, that's what it does. It makes the experiences a lot better having those things. Not to say that you shouldn't be happy to wake up and experience whatever life throws at you. And to kind of, I guess, live absurdistly. Like, who's the one French absurdist? Whatever his name was. Kind of live like that. Like, why not? Why not live? Why not have all these experiences? Why not be grateful for them? Why not, why not live through them? Like, it's cool. We're blessed to wake up and live with these experiences and have these experiences and just generally live. And we should make the most of our situation, our human situation. But it's just like the experience, having good health, good connections, can just add on so much to that. But when I care about those things and I try to maintain those things, I'm in a battle with this OCD. And they're going to try to tear down my relationships and tear down my health. Well, the OCD in my head, it's going to try to distress me about these two things. And then it's going to tear down my mental health. And I'm just left with, do I live truly absurdist? And do I just, or I guess Taoist in a sense? like, just let whatever happen and let go of completely, and then I will be free of the OCD, but then, well, then I won't have these experiences that, well, then I won't have these things that make these experiences so much better, so much more beautiful. Like, I know the fight with the OCD is worth it, you know? I think it's worth it to care about those things, but it's just brutal sometimes, and I don't know, I don't even really know. I hope I can get over it, because if I can get over that, you know, having good health is relatively easy for me if I put my mind to it. And then relationships with other people can sometimes be hard, but definitely worth it. I think I can definitely do it. But it's just this OCD it's quite the battle. It's harder than those other two things for sure. I don't know. I guess this has been a beneficial video, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I got my word out there, and then I tried something new. And I also pushed myself to put myself in a situation where I'm kind of pressured by a camera to speak, to stay calm under that. I think this was a worthwhile video. If you have any thoughts, I would love to chat in the comments, and just, especially if you guys have OCD too, I'd love to hear about your experience. You know, I don't know anyone personally in real life with it, so it would be kind of great to, you know, like, hear from some people that have it, and I can just, I guess, I like, if you have something you're going through, I can try to give my advice, you know. And I can just know that there's other people out there with that same struggle, because I know there is, but I just haven't met them. And yeah. I think I just want to be free from the suffering, man. Well, I want to be free from the suffering, but I know that the things that I'm suffering for are worth it. And the suffering itself isn't necessarily the worst thing. I think in life you have to have a contrast with... You need a contrast. If everything's too good, then that just becomes the normal. You need contrast in your life. You need to make... As one of my friends says, one of my really good friends, he's on the decline. He's had some major issues with drug abuse and whatnot, and I feel quite bad, but there's not much I can do to help him. But I remember we used to have these long conversations, and he would tell me, you know, life is like a canvas, and you have to... And to make a nice canvas, or not to have a nice canvas, but to have a full canvas, you need to have the beautiful paintings with the strokes of your brush, and like the beautiful colors and whatever, beautiful paint, you know, that, you know, you painted and stroked with your brush. And then you also have to smear around some blood, some shit, and some throw up, and tears and sweat, and you just mix that around with your hands. And the beautiful part about life is that contrast between the beauty and then that absolutely just horrible shit. And I think in that sense the suffering's good, but sometimes when the suffering is uncontrolled, because, for example, I run, right? The running, I suffer, but I can end the suffering too. there's, I can end the suffering when I want to. But it's that contrast. Sorry, there's someone who's going by again. But it's that contrast that makes everything so beautiful and so worth living, I guess. So that's something to think about. But anyways, my point is that, sorry, I just realized that I already talked about the contrast. What I was saying was, when you smear that blood and shit, in my personal experience, it's only good when you can end the suffering. So when I run, for example, I can end the suffering when I feel is right. And then that contrast is beautiful. But when it's constant suffering, and I go through with OCD, when I'm constantly suffering, then it becomes depressive. And then when there's no good to contrast with the bad, then it just becomes all bad. And that's what I'm going through right now. That's really what I'm going through right now. And it's just suffering that is to know it, I know the suffering's worth it for the things that I truly care about, but it's hard when you don't have anything good to really contrast with that suffering. And I do have good. I have lots of good in my life. But in certain moments, there's this prolonged suffering that's really brutal. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to still be living and still experiencing. And I try to smile through it, but it gets hard. I'm not going to lie. When you cannot end the suffering, it gets hard. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end the video at that. I was supposed to end the video like 5 minutes ago, but that's okay. Again, anyone with, I suppose, any experience, share it in the comments, but especially with OCD. I'd love to hear some people like that. And yeah. And my friends from the track team just drove by. You probably think I'm insane talking to my phone. Anyways, I hope anyone who hears this has a splendid day. I hope that you are in good spirits, good mood, and I wish health to you, and I wish positive connections with other people. Yes. With that, anyone who's really watched this video, I doubt anyone will, but I appreciate that so much. No, I really do. And I will see you guys later. I might turn this channel into a physics channel where I talk about physics. And maybe a little bit of building too. And then also, I've been wanting to get into gardening, so I might do some of that. But I don't know. The gardening, that's like, I'll maybe get into that. But I would love to post some physics videos because I do love physics. It's very, very cool. And maybe some nutrition videos too. Though I'm not very knowledgeable in nutrition. I'm still learning a lot. And I still have a long way to go. But physics for sure. Thank you guys for watching.